Mr. Postman. Wait, Mr. Postman.
All right, it's time for our mail call segment here on AM 700 KSEV, the Open House Radio Show. Our question this week has to do with pricing, and we've talked about it before. If you're putting your home on the market, probably the most important thing that you can do is price it right. Now, all the other components come into that when we're talking about things like condition and things like that. If you want to get the highest price, you better be in the best condition. Pure and simple, easy stuff. All right, so the question is, what do you consider to be more important? Homes that have already sold or homes that are currently on the market when it comes to pricing a house right? Well, the answer to that is that one isn't more important than the other. They're both important, but they both give you kind of a different piece to the puzzle. In fact, when it comes to pricing houses, the way that we do it is we look at what we call comparable properties. Comparable properties being some that are on the market right now for sale, some that have already sold. But there's actually even more to the puzzle than those two components. We also need to look at homes that are currently under contract and homes that didn't sell, what we call expired listings. So here's what we're looking at. Ultimately, once we get under contract, the most important homes that we need to look at are the ones that are already sold. The reason for that is because they have already gone through the process that we're trying to go through. They have held up to buyer scrutiny. They've held up to inspector scrutiny. They've held up to appraiser scrutiny. And they've made it all the way to closing, which is ultimately what we want to do. So when it comes time to figure out where we need to be in terms of pricing, to get that home from the time of accepted contract to closing, the solds are the ones that are most important, because during that process, the person that's most important to us, the appraiser. Because if the appraiser gets out there and doesn't say that the value of the property is what we've sold it for, that can kill our deal. So that piece, obviously, is very important. But in the very beginning, besides looking at what has already sold, we need to look at what's on the market right now. That's our competition. And we talk about, if you want to compete with what's already there, you have to be priced like they are, you have to be in the condition they are, you have to be as good as they are. But we don't want to compete. That's not what we're after. We want to beat them. We want to be the one chosen. We want to be the bride, not the bridesmaid. So in order for that to happen, we have to be priced a little better. We have to look a little better. We have to present a little better. The only way to do that, price it right, get it under contract, and then be concerned about the things that are already sold. So we have to look at both of those things. We have to price it where we think the appraiser is going to be okay in order to get it there. So part of the pricing, when we get ready to put it on the market, what's on the market right now, because we want to compete with that. The other things that we want to look at what is currently pending that's comparable. Why? Because they got a contract. What did they do to get a contract? You know the old saying, if you continue to do what you've always done, you're going to continue to get what you always got. Well, if what they got is a contract, that's what we want. So we want to look and see what they did. Whatever they did, that's what we want to do. The expired listings, those are ones that didn't get a contract. We want to see what they did too. Same principle. If you continue to do what you've always done, you're going to get what you always got. Well, if they're expired listings, they didn't get a contract. We want to look and see what they did, and it's probably pricing. It almost always is. And we want to look and see what they did, and we don't want to make the same mistakes. Pretty simple. It's all on what's called the comparative market analysis. And as a seller, it's not really something that you can do on your own. It's very difficult for you to do it on your own. Yes, you can go and you can find out what's currently on the market for sale. Good deal, that helps you there. What has expired, you're going to have a tough time with that. What's currently under contract, you're going to have a tough time with that. What has sold in your neighborhood, you're going to have a real tough time with that, because we don't put sales prices, they're not a matter of public record in the state of Texas. The place to get that, your friendly neighborhood realtor. They can help you with all of that. So yeah, when we get ready to price homes, we have to look at all of that. If you want to make sure, in order to get each component to price that property properly, well, that's for price the property properly. You want to make sure and do that. You have to have all of those components in place. All right, so that's the answer to our question. A great question. I love that question. Pricing property has always been a real passion of mine. I want to make sure whenever I take a listing, it needs to be priced right. It doesn't do me any good to have a sign sitting out on a house for 8 months. Doesn't do that seller any good to have it sitting out there for 8 or 9 months. We want to price it to where it'll sell, get it moved, move on to the next. Everybody, it works out so much better for everybody. That seller can get on with their life, a new buyer can get on with their life, we can move on to other listings. All right, if you have a question that you'd like to have answered, you can send it to us several ways. You can give us a call, 281-558-5738, or you can send it to us by email, openhouseradio@yahoo.com, or you can go onto the show's Facebook page, Open House Radio, and you can post it there. Or you can even go to the show's website, ksevradio.com, and then you can go and you can post it there under Schedule and Open House. So, number of ways you can get a hold of us. Love those questions. Love to be able to answer those for you. We like to do it every week. So that's our mail call segment for this week. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. Christy Woods is on the line with us. She's